The signal arrived at precisely 3:47 a.m. Earth Standard Time, piercing through the quiet darkness of the remote signal detection facility like a beacon of hope. Dr. Naomi Rhodes stared at her holographic display, her dark eyes reflecting the pulsing patterns that danced across the screen. After 15 years of searching the cosmos for signs of the legendary luminary species, this was the moment she had been waiting for. "Julian, are you seeing this?" she called out, her voice trembling with excitement. Dr. Julian Patel, her research partner of 7 years, hurried over from his workstation, his usually neat appearance slightly disheveled from the long night shift. "These patterns," he whispered, adjusting his round spectacles. They matched the ancient recordings perfectly. His fingers flew across the holographic interface, bringing up comparison data from their archives. The frequency, the amplitude, even the temporal spacing. It's exactly as described in the Centaurian texts. Naomi nodded, her heart racing. The luminary, a species said to be born only once every 1,000 years, had last been seen by human eyes during humanity's first steps into deep space. Now, after centuries of waiting, another birth cycle was beginning. The facility's massive array of quantum receivers hummed with energy as they captured more data streaming in from the distant Carina Nebula. Outside their reinforced windows, the red sands of Mars stretched endlessly toward the horizon, broken only by the gleaming domes of the research colony. "We need to alert the Council," Julian said, already reaching for the secure communication terminal. But Naomi caught his wrist, her expression serious. "Wait," she cautioned. "Remember what happened to Dr. Reeves when she reported the false positive last year? We need to be absolutely certain." Julian's excitement dimmed slightly at the memory. Dr. Reeves had been one of the most respected synorchaeologists in the field until her career ended in disgrace. The Council for Interstellar Research didn't take kindly to false alarms, especially regarding the luminary. "Run a full spectrum analysis," Naomi commanded their AI system. "Compare against all known natural phenomena and artificial signals in the database." The computers worked silently for several minutes, during which neither scientist spoke. The only sound was the gentle hum of machinery and their own anxious breathing. Finally, the results appeared. 99.8% match to historical luminary signatures, the AI announced. No matching natural or artificial phenomena found in database. Julian let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. "This is it, Naomi. This is really it." She nodded, allowing herself a small smile. "Send the alert. Priority 1, full encryption." "And Julian?" She turned to face him fully. "Mark it for Director Canton's eyes only." As Julian began the transmission process, Naomi turned back to the streaming data. Something about the signal structure was unusual, different from the historical records. The pattern seemed more urgent, almost distressed. "Julian, look at this modulation here." She pointed to a particular sequence. "Have you ever seen anything like it?" He frowned, studying the display. "It's like they're calling for help." Before either of them could discuss this further, their communication terminal chimed. Director Canton's holographic form materialized in the center of the room, her stern features set in a grave expression. "Dr. Rhodes, Dr. Patel," she acknowledged them. "I've reviewed your preliminary data. A ship is already en route to your facility. Say nothing of this to anyone. Destroy all local copies of the signal data immediately." "But Director," Naomi protested, "this could be the discovery of the century. We need to analyze." "That's an order, Doctor," Canton cut her off. "The situation is more complex than you realize. Stand by for arrival within 6 hours." The hologram vanished, leaving Naomi and Julian in stunned silence. They exchanged worried glances, both thinking the same thing. What had they stumbled upon? "We need to make a copy," Naomi said quietly, her fingers already moving across her console. "Something's wrong here, Julian." "The signal," the director's response. "None of this fits the standard protocols." Julian hesitated only for a moment before nodding. I'll create a quantum-encrypted backup and hide it in the geological survey data. No one ever looks at those files." As they worked quickly to preserve their discovery, the signal suddenly intensified. New patterns emerged, more complex and urgent than before. Naomi's eyes widened as she recognized elements of an ancient mathematical sequence she'd studied years ago. "They're not just calling for help," she realized, her voice barely a whisper. "They're warning us." The facility's lights flickered, and for a moment, the entire building seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. Outside, the Martian sky lit up with an aurora of impossible colors, casting ethereal shadows across the red desert landscape. Something was coming. The birth of a new luminary was just the beginning, and Naomi Rhodes stood at the threshold of a discovery that would change humanity's place in the cosmos forever. Captain Dominic Torres stood at the helm of the Horizon, his weathered hands gripping the command rail as he stared into the swirling depths of the Carina Nebula. The massive exploration vessel had been pushing its engines to their limits for the past 3 days, racing toward coordinates that had the entire scientific community buzzing with speculation. "Status report," he called out, his deep voice carrying across the bridge with practiced authority. Security Chief Lena Novak responded immediately from her station, her cybernetic eye glowing faintly as it processed the incoming data. "All systems nominal, Captain, but we're picking up unusual energy fluctuations in Grid Sector 7. "Show me," Torres commanded, and the main view screen shifted to display a region of space that seemed to ripple like water. The usual purple and blue gases of the nebula were shot through with threads of golden light that shouldn't have been there. "Computer can't identify the energy signature," Lena continued, her organic eye narrowing. "It's nothing we've ever encountered before." Torres nodded grimly. The classified briefing he'd received from Earth Command had mentioned something like this might happen. "Deploy the sensor drones, full spectrum analysis, and get me a secure line to Dr. Rhodes on Mars." As his crew carried out his orders, Torres reflected on the strange series of events that had brought them here. The Horizon had been halfway through its regular patrol of the outer colonies when the emergency orders came through. He'd never seen command move so quickly, not even during the Proxima crisis. The holographic communication array hummed to life, and Dr. Rhodes's image appeared before him. She looked tired but alert, her dark hair pulled back hastily from her face. "Captain Torres, thank you for responding so quickly." "Doctor," he acknowledged, "we're seeing some unusual phenomena out here. Golden energy patterns that match the signal frequencies we detected," she finished, leaning forward. "Captain, listen carefully. The signal we received, it wasn't just an announcement of birth. It was a warning. Something is hunting the luminary." Torres felt the weight of responsibility settle more heavily on his shoulders. Hunting them. Why? "The luminary aren't just rare, Captain. They're powerful. Legend says they can manipulate the fundamental forces of reality itself. If someone could capture one, especially a newborn, they'd have a weapon unlike anything we've ever seen." Torres concluded, his jaw tightening. "Have you informed Command?" Dr. Rhodes's expression darkened. "Command isn't what you think it is, Captain." Director Canton's response to our discovery was concerning. "You need to be careful who you trust." Before Torres could respond, Lena's voice cut through the conversation. "Captain, energy spike in Sector 7. Something's emerging." The view screen showed the rippling area of space terror open like a wound in reality. Golden light poured through the rift, and within it, a shape began to take form. It was massive, easily the size of a small moon, but it seemed to shift and flow like liquid starlight. "By all the stars," Torres whispered. The entire bridge crew stood transfixed as they witnessed something that hadn't been seen by human eyes in over a millennium. The birth of a luminary. The being emerged fully from the rift, its form stabilizing into something that defied description. It was like watching a constellation come to life, with patterns of light and energy that spoke of ancient wisdom and untold power. "We're being hailed," Lena reported, her voice unusually soft with awe. The signal. It's coming from the luminary itself. But before Torres could respond, multiple new contacts appeared on their sensors. Ships of unknown design dropped out of faster-than-light travel, their weapons already charging. Battle stations. Torres commanded, snapping his crew out of their reverence. Dr. Rhodes, we have company. Hostile vessels, unknown configuration. Protect it, Captain, she urged. Whatever happens, that luminary cannot fall into the wrong hands. The fate of more than just humanity may depend on it. The horizon's shields hummed to life as Torres prepared his ship for battle. They were outnumbered and facing unknown technology, but he'd sworn an oath to protect life in all its forms. And there, shining before them like a newborn star, was perhaps the rarest form of life in the entire galaxy. All hands, prepare for combat maneuvers, he announced ship-wide. We stand between hunters and their prey. Let's show them why that's a bad place to be. The first shots were fired, streaks of crimson energy lancing through space toward both the horizon and the luminary. As his crew sprang into action, Torres couldn't help but feel that they had just become part of something far larger than themselves, a cosmic dance of creation and destruction that had been playing out for millennia. And somewhere in the depths of space, more forces were converging on their position, drawn by the birth of a being that could reshape the very fabric of reality. The emergency shuttle carrying Dr. Rhodes and Julian burst through Mars' atmosphere, racing toward the coordinates where the horizon engaged in its desperate battle. Naomi gripped her seat as the vessel shuddered around them, her mind racing with the revelations of the past 12 hours. Incoming transmission from the horizon, Julian announced, his fingers dancing across the control panel. The holographic display flickered to life, showing Captain Torres's face amid chaos on his bridge. Doctor, we're holding them off, but barely, Torres reported, ducking as sparks flew from a nearby console. The luminary. It's trying to communicate, but these attackers are jamming our frequencies. Who are they? Naomi demanded, leaning forward. That's the interesting part, Torres replied grimly. Ask your old colleague, Dr. Victor Kane. His signature is all over their ship designs. Naomi felt her blood run cold. Victor Kane had been her mentor at the Xenological Institute before his obsession with weaponizing alien technology had gotten him banned from the scientific community. She testified against him at the ethics hearing 5 years ago. Kane, she whispered, he's been planning this all along. The shuttle rocked violently as a warning alarm blared. Multiple ships on intercept course, Julian warned, his usual calm demeanor cracking. They're not Horizon's allies. Through the viewport, Naomi watched as 3 sleek vessels emerged from faster-than-light travel, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly metal that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Kane's new benefactors had clearly supplied him with technology far beyond anything humanity possessed. Horizon, we need cover fire, Julian called out. We're sitting ducks out here. The massive exploration vessel responded immediately, its defense batteries lighting up the void with precision shots that forced Kane's interceptors to break formation. The shuttle slipped through the gap, racing toward the golden glow of the newborn luminary. Dr. Rhodes, a new voice cut through their communications, smooth and familiar. Still chasing impossible dreams, I see. Victor, Naomi responded, her voice tight. What could possibly justify this? You're attacking a newborn being. Kane's laughter echoed through the channel. Justification. I'm pursuing the greatest scientific discovery in human history. The luminary's power could revolutionize everything. Space travel, energy production, weapons technology. But you always were too squeamish to see the bigger picture. The bigger picture. Naomi shot back. You're hunting a sentient species to extinction. One must break eggs to make an omelet, my dear, Kane replied coldly. And this particular egg could give humanity dominion over the entire galaxy. The shuttle sensors suddenly lit up with new alerts. The luminary was moving, its massive form flowing through space with impossible grace. Streams of golden energy began to pulse outward from its core, forming intricate patterns that reminded Naomi of the ancient texts she'd studied. It's not running away, Julian realized, studying the data. It's creating something, a gateway. The space around the luminary began to warp and twist, reality itself seeming to bend to its will. The energy patterns expanded, forming a massive structure of light and power that dwarfed even the massive being that created it. All vessels, this is Captain Torres, the Horizon's commander, broadcast on all frequencies. Fall back immediately. These energy readings are off the charts. But Kane's ships pressed forward, their weapons charging for another assault. Don't let it escape, Kane commanded. Everything I've worked for depends on this moment. The gateway pulsed, and suddenly Naomi understood. The ancient texts hadn't been describing just the luminary's birth. They'd been warning about what came after. The newborn wasn't alone. It was calling for its guardians. Victor, stop this now, she pleaded. You don't understand what you're dealing with. I understand perfectly, Kane responded. And I won't let your misguided morality stand in the way of progress again. The gateway erupted with blinding light, and through it came shapes that defied description. Ancient luminary, their forms twisted into geometric patterns that hurt the human mind to observe. They moved with purpose, positioning themselves around their newborn sibling like cosmic guardians. My God, Julian breathed. The legends were true. They really do protect their young. The ancient luminary began to pulse with energy, and Naomi knew they had seconds to act. Horizon, get your shields to maximum. Julian, emergency maneuvers. Now. The space around Kane's ships began to distort, reality itself bending and warping at the will of beings that had mastered its fundamental laws eons ago. His vessels, for all their advanced technology, were like toys before such power. This isn't possible. Kane's voice crackled through the calm, fear finally breaking through his confident facade. The readings, they're exceeding all theoretical limits. The gateway pulsed one final time, and everything changed. Space itself seemed to fold, wrapping around Kane's ships in a cosmic embrace that defied physics. In seconds, they vanished, transported to some distant corner of the universe by beams that viewed space and time as malleable clay. As the light faded, the newborn luminary drifted toward their shuttle, its presence filling their minds with images of gratitude and purpose. Naomi understood then that this hadn't been just about protecting a rare species. It had been a test. Humanity had been judged, and at least some of them had passed. The aftermath of the battle left an eerie calm in the depths of space. The Horizon floated serenely alongside the shuttle, both vessels dwarfed by the presence of the luminary beings. The ancient guardians had arranged themselves in a complex geometric pattern around their newborn companion, their forms shimmering with colors that human eyes had never seen before. Reading multiple energy signatures, Lena reported from the Horizon's bridge, her cybernetic eye struggling to process the data. They're trying to interface with our systems. Captain Torres watched as golden threads of energy delicately wove their way through both vessels, leaving their technology untouched but somehow enhanced. Dr. Rhodes, are you seeing this? Yes, Naomi breathed, watching the same phenomenon from the shuttle. They're not just communicating, they're upgrading our ability to understand them. The largest of the ancient luminary moved forward, its form resolving into something more comprehensible to human perception. Within its swirling patterns of light, a face emerged, not human, but deliberately shaped to ease communication. When it spoke, its words appeared directly in their minds, accompanied by images and emotions that added layers of meaning to each thought. We are the Watchers, it communicated. I am Nyx, guardian of the seventh spiral. You have proven yourselves worthy of trust. Julian, still at the shuttle's controls, looked at Naomi with wonder. They're not just rare, he whispered. They're the guardians of reality itself. Nyx's form pulsed in acknowledgement. For 1,000,000 of your years, we have maintained the barriers between dimensions, protected the laws of physics from those who would unmake them. Each millennium, One new guardian is born, ensuring our vigil never ends. The newborn luminary drifted closer, its pattern of lights mimicking Nyx's but with a distinctly different rhythm. Through their enhanced understanding, the humans could sense its curiosity, its eagerness to learn about these beings who had chosen to protect rather than capture it. Your former colleague, Nyx continued, addressing Naomi directly, sought to harness powers beyond his comprehension. He is not the first, nor will he be the last. But you chose differently. You chose to protect, to understand rather than control. What happened to Cain? Torres asked, though part of him already knew the answer. He and his vessels have been relocated to a distant galaxy, Nyx explained, ripples of light cascading through its form. They will have time to reflect on their choices and perhaps learn wisdom. Suddenly, alarms blared on both vessels. Multiple ships dropping out of FTL. Lena announced, tension in her voice. It's the entire Third Fleet. Dozens of Earth's most powerful warships emerged from faster-than-light travel, their weapons primed and ready. At their head was the dreadnought Imperator, Director Canton's personal flagship. This is Director Canton of Earth Command. Her voice cut through all channels. Stand down and withdraw from the alien entities immediately. This is a matter of planetary security. Torres stepped forward, his jaw set. With all due respect, Director, we will not comply. These beings have shown us trust and friendship. We won't betray that. Don't be naive, Captain, Canton snapped. The power they possess could ensure humanity's dominance for generations. We cannot let this opportunity slip away. The newborn luminary moved then, placing itself between the fleet and the human vessels that had protected it. Its light pulsed with determination, and through their enhanced perception, Naomi understood its intention. It's not just testing us, she realized. It's choosing us, all of us. This is humanity's moment to prove we're ready for a larger role in the cosmos. Nyx's form expanded, filling the space between the opposing forces. Your species stands at a crossroads, it communicated to all present. The path of dominance leads only to isolation. But there is another way. The Third Fleet's weapons remained charged, but no one fired. The moment stretched out, heavy with possibility. Director Canton's next choice would determine humanity's path for generations to come. And in the silence of space, surrounded by beings of unimaginable power and wisdom, the truth became clear. This was never about capturing or controlling the luminary. It was about humanity proving they were ready to join something far greater than themselves. The newborn's light pulsed again, stronger this time, and with it came a vision of possibilities, of humanity joining the Watchers as partners rather than adversaries, of knowledge and discoveries beyond their wildest dreams, of a future where power came not from dominance, but from understanding. The choice lay before them, written in light against the darkness of space. Director Canton's voice trembled ever so slightly as she responded to the luminary's offer. You would share your knowledge with us. After everything some of us tried to do. The space between the Third Fleet and the luminary shimmered with possibilities. Nyx's form pulsed with gentle understanding, while the newborn luminary danced with barely contained excitement, its light casting golden reflections across the hulls of every ship present. The greatest power, Nyx communicated, lies not in the ability to destroy or dominate, but in the wisdom to choose a better path. Your defenders here have shown that humanity possesses this wisdom. On the Horizon's bridge, Captain Torres exchanged glances with Lena. They had stood their ground against their own people, choosing to protect a being they barely understood. Now that choice would reshape humanity's future. Director, Naomi called out from the shuttle, her voice steady and clear. I've spent my life studying the ancient texts about the luminary. They've never sought to rule or control. They're guardians, teachers, and now they're offering us a chance to learn from them. The tension in space could have been cut with a knife as Canton's dreadnought slowly powered down its weapons. One by one, the other ships of the Third Fleet followed suit. A collective breath seemed to be released across every vessel present. Perhaps, Canton admitted, her voice softer now. We've been approaching this all wrong. Dr. Rhodes, Captain Torres, your actions today may have saved us from a terrible mistake. The newborn luminary moved forward, its light forming patterns that spoke of joy and possibility. Through their enhanced perception, the humans received images of wonders beyond imagination, ancient libraries of stellar knowledge, ways of moving through space and time that defied conventional physics, and most importantly, a place among the stars as partners rather than conquerors. We offer you a gift, Nyx announced, its form expanding to encompass all present. Knowledge, yes, but more importantly, understanding. Your species has shown it possesses the potential for greatness, not through force, but through wisdom and compassion. Streams of golden energy began to flow from the ancient luminary, touching each ship with gentle purpose. Where the energy passed, systems upgraded themselves, computers expanded their capabilities, and the barriers between human and cosmic understanding began to fade. This is remarkable, Julian gasped, watching as the shuttle's simple computers transformed into something far more advanced. They're not just giving us technology, they're helping us evolve to understand it properly. Director Canton's hologram appeared on both the horizon and the shuttle, her expression one of wonder and realization. Dr. Rhodes, Captain Torres, I owe you an apology, and perhaps humanity owes you a debt of gratitude. Your courage today has opened a door we never knew existed. The newborn luminary, which had been observing quietly, suddenly burst into a display of cosmic artistry, its light forming intricate patterns that told stories of past guardians and future possibilities. Through their enhanced perception, all present understood. This was not just a greeting or a gift. It was an invitation to join something greater than themselves. The role of the Watchers, Nyx explained, has always been to guard the boundaries of reality, to preserve the delicate balance of existence. Now, we offer humanity a chance to join us in this sacred duty, not as servants or subjects, but as equals, growing into your potential. We accept, Canton declared, after a moment of communication with Earth Command. On behalf of humanity, we accept your offer of partnership and learning. The space around them transformed as the luminary celebrated, their combined energies creating displays that defied description. The newborn spun and danced through the void, its joy infectious, while the ancient guardians began the process of sharing their first lessons with their new allies. This is just the beginning, Naomi whispered, watching as the barriers between human understanding and cosmic truth began to dissolve. Everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe is about to change. Torres smiled, standing proud on his bridge. Maybe that's exactly what we needed. A reminder that the greatest discoveries come not from conquest, but from cooperation and understanding. As the golden light of the luminary bathed the assembled ships, humanity stood on the threshold of a new era. They had been tested not by their strength or their technology, but by their capacity for wisdom and compassion. In choosing to protect rather than exploit, they had proven themselves ready for a greater role in the cosmic dance. The newborn luminary, now secure among both its ancient guardians and its new human friends, pulsed with a final message, a vision of a future where humanity's potential would bloom among the stars, guided by wisdom as old as the universe itself. The dawn of a new age had arrived, written in light against the endless canvas of space, promising a future limited only by imagination and illuminated by understanding.